Hello. In this video, I'm going to talk about realism and how learning to paint and draw in a realistic way that's true to life is an excellent foundational skill for creating art in many styles. We instinctively know when a painting or drawing has captured a subject realistically. It looks right to our eye. In fact, it's our eyes where the painting and drawing process begins. Because in order to reproduce on our paper what we see in our subject, we need to observe it as carefully and objectively as we can. Observation is a skill that can be learnt like any other. Beginner artists are often surprised when they discover that training their artistic eye to see differently is the most important thing when looking to improve their artistic skills. Training your artistic eye is actually easier than it sounds, because it just happens when you practice painting and drawing from observation. But we can fast-track these observation skills by painting larger than life and by working in a realistic style, because this means we focus on breaking our subject down into its smallest component shapes of colour. Once we've honed our observation skills, we start noticing more colours, shapes and details in the environment around us. It's like an unused part of our brain wakes up and it feels amazing. So if this hasn't happened for you yet, you're in for a treat. When we start to see small shapes of colour in our subjects, it makes them seem much easier to paint. To understand realism more fully and to be able to achieve more realistic results in our own artwork, it helps to understand that realistic paintings successfully recreate two things. Firstly, a sense of 3D form, and secondly, a realistic texture. Let's look at this photo of a pear and then 3 ways of depicting it. In this cartoon-like picture, the green of the pear contains just one tonal value, with no variations in light and dark. The result is stylized and fun, but it's totally flat and unrealistic looking because it lacks form. To give the pear form, we need to capture the full tonal range in the pear, from the highlights through to the darkest tones. And we need to get them in the correct places. For instance, in this pear, the right-hand side needed to be darker than the left, and there needed to be an area of highlight along the centre. To get these tonal relationships correct, we need to perceive our subject as a whole. When we do get it right, it gives us a sense of how light falls on the subject and makes it seem three-dimensional to us. So in contrast, this illustration of a pear looks really 3D because it's got a full tonal range. There are areas of highlight and of darker colour in the right sort of places. But it still doesn't look very realistic, and that's because there's no texture to it. Here, I've painted a pear. I've paid attention to the tonal relationships at the level of form. The right-hand side is a little bit darker than the left, but I've also painted the pear's texture. This meant really closely observing it, painting all the detail I could see. When aiming for realism then, we must keep switching our attention between zooming out and painting at the level of the whole to capture form, and then zooming in to paint the detail of texture. You can find a whole library of detailed step-by-step instructional tutorials to develop your painting skills with Nature Studio membership. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Nature Studio TV, then pop over to naturestudio.com where you can sign up for a free class and find loads of free resources to help you experience the joy of capturing nature's beauty on your paper. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.